few chapters of my favorite book. But instead of my favorite book, how about I just read books? Pretty much like a little book club, because why not? I do plan on reading a few chapters from the book I'm currently reading. It's actually, it's really good, but it's taken me a very long time to get through it, unfortunately. So, I need to find the time to record that and figure out if I'm gonna, like, how I'm gonna set up. So with that, I have several books here that I would like to possibly dabble into. I was gonna go through and add another one, but I was kind of reading like a quick overview of the book, and I decided against it. It's Nothing But Blackened Teeth, Cassandra Caw. Now, I read that it has dark themes in it, so I want to hold off in reading those types of books for now, considering we're just going to be diving into reading. So, the three I have here, and I have actually already looked these up, and I have kind of glanced at them on like reviews and things like that, but I didn't dive too deep where the whole book is spoiled. This is the first book, and that book I have here is Leech. By Hiron, Ennes. Leech by Hiron, Ennes. I had looked over this one. Like I said, I needed to make sure that there weren't any dark, like really heavy themes, because I am going to admit the books I prefer reading are horror, paranormal, thriller, suspense, true crime, and so I also do dabble a little bit into fantasy, like dark fantasy. Like, that's a majority of the books I read. I've never really read like a comedy, romance. Romance is not quite my thing. Not really. It's not my go-to book, but I will read it if I have to. I do enjoy, on occasion, a good non-fiction book. Like, I've read I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy, and then the book that was brought out by Britney Spears, the like biographies. I'll read those. Excerpt from the book, the part that's inside the cover. I'll give that a little read, and then we can go from there, and you can determine which one you would like to listen to. We can just set up our own little book club book, our first book club book. The excerpt is: in an isolated chateau as far north as north goes, the Baron's doctor had died. The doctor's replacement has a mystery to solve, discovering how the Institute lost track of one of its many bodies. For hundreds of years, the Interprovincial Medical Institute has grown by taking root in young minds and shaping them into doctors, replacing every human practitioner of medicine. The Institute is here to help humanity, to cure and to cut, to cradle and protect the species from the apocalyptic horrors their ancestors unleashed. In the frozen north, the Institute's body will discover a competitor for its rung at the top of the evolutionary ladder. A parasite is spreading through the Baron's castle, already a dark pit of secrets, lies, violence, and fear. The two will make war of the battlefield of the body. Whichever wins, humanity will lose again. So that is Leech. I love me a good hardcover book. But I hate whenever I put the book in my bag and then the dust jacket, it gets wrinkled, it gets caught, or the edges start to wear. It drives me nuts. So I guess from now on, I'm just gonna take the little dust jacket off while I'm reading and be without, because I hate ruining them, but it also makes some nice sounds too. Was going to be another novel to its predecessor, The Handmaid's Tale. So we have The Testament, Margaret Atwood. So I was looking, and it contains the novellas. It is actually more, there's other characters in here that it takes place on their point of view. If you would like me to reread The Handmaid's Tale, we can do that as well, but technically this could be a standalone. This could be a standalone book versus being a sequel, an actual follow-up to The Handmaid's Tale, which that's what I thought this was, but I was wrong. So whenever I had first purchased the book, I had actually gotten it with The Handmaid's Tale, and then I actually saw this, and then I thought, oh shoot, I better check into that, and I better get that. The Testaments by Margaret Atwood. There's that. course, you have the raven on the cover, and then you turn it over, and it's a bunch of ravens. Whenever I got this book, I actually saw the Monarchs first, which is the sequel to this one. So I saw the Monarchs first, and I said, I need that. So I got that one, and then I saw that that was actually the sequel. So then I had to go back and go look for the ravens. So here we are with the ravens. The metallic outlines. Just wait until we get into the Monarch. It's so pretty. Only their sisterhood can save them. At first glance, the sisters of ultra-exclusive Kappa Rho knew the ravens seemed like typical sorority girls. Ambitious, beautiful, and smart. They're the most powerful girls on Westerly College's Savannah, Georgia campus. But the ravens aren't just regular sorority girls. They're witches. Scarlet Winter has always known she's a witch, and she's determined to be the sorority's president, just like her mother and sister before her. But if a painful secret from her past ever comes to light, she could lose absolutely everything. Vivi Devereaux has no idea she's a witch, and she's never lived in one place long enough to make a friend. So when she gets a coveted bid to pledge the ravens, she vows to do whatever it takes to be part of the magical sisterhood. The only thing standing in her way is Scarlet, who doesn't think Vivi is Raven's material. But when a wicked power rises on campus, the girls will have to put their rivalry aside to save their fellow sisters. Someone has discovered the Raven secret, and that someone will do anything to see these witches burn. So that is the Raven. I'm actually quite excited for this one. Quite excited for this one. If nobody picks any book, I'm gonna pick it, and it's gonna be the Ravens. So that is the list of books here. So there's the Ravens. The book I am currently reading is called Keep It in the Family, and I was actually just finishing this chapter. I am on chapter 48, page 215. So I will actually just read the rest of this chapter because there's only 4 paragraphs. With a renewed burst of energy, Precious starts running along the road around a sharp bend out of view. I sprint after her, the cramp in my leg burning and pulling with each movement. As I turn the corner, I see her again and shout her name as she approaches traffic lights. Leave me alone. She turns her head and screams, and even from this distance I can feel her terror. She has tarred me with the same brush used to paint my parents. Wait, please, I yell. My pain escalating, the cramp is getting worse and it's slowing my pace. Since I actually do enjoy reading, I have like one more book I have to finish for this year. At least for my goal, because the app I use to track my goals is called Fable. It's similar to Goodreads, but honestly, I prefer Fable. It's cute, it's easy to use, and it has like little pictures of the books whenever you're done reading them or you add one to your wish list. And like the main reason I want to do it is because it gives me the motivation. If I'm in bed, I will open my Kindle app or just turn on my Kindle and I will fall asleep within the first few sentences. Because my routine is that the routine I have is I go to bed and I try to read, but it will be easier if I'm able to just read it out loud. It will be easier for me to stay awake, so I'm hoping I can do that. So that's what I plan on doing. Plus, also, like, I have some family members and friends that prefer listening to books rather than actually physically reading a book. And me, I'm the complete opposite. I can't sit down and listen to an audiobook. Same with the podcast. If I am really interested in it, if it's the topic that I really want to listen to, then I will have to drop everything. I have to drop everything and focus on that thing. Because if I take my mind off of it and I'm not paying much attention, then I completely forget. Like, I completely block out, like, maybe a main key point to the book, or the main plot point, or there's like a twist, or something happens, and then I am just in, like, what happened? Because then I have to go all the way back and figure out where I left off of what I remembered, what was being read. So that's something that I struggle with. Whereas other people that I know it's a lot more convenient to listen to an audiobook. So maybe they'll listen to me reading, and then they can't have an excuse to not listen. So come on, bestie. Listen to me read to you. I will read to you. Okay, just so that we can have something to talk about. So I plan on, maybe I'll go ahead and let them in on this channel. Just maybe. So, with that, if you could leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a like letting me know that you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment of which book you would be interested in listening to. And listening to me read, like a little audiobook. A good little audiobook moment, but without the subscription and having to pay for audiobooks.